Okay, we're going to continue with your phone calls and what happened in the market yesterday, but this illustrates to everyone, A, how rigged the market is, B, how volatile it is, and how much the media will lie to you. There were record trades, stocks being dumped in Europe. They had to shut down the major stock exchanges right as this happened because people were dumping their stocks. It's all interconnected. It goes down by almost 1,000 points or right at 1,000 points. 1 point short of it, and then it goes right back up 700 points right after it. I mean, this is rigged, and I wanted to go back to your calls on government drug dealing. You were trying to get into Terry Reid. He was a CIA trainer. He saw Bill Clinton. He saw them all there at MENA. They started, killing local kids. He wasn't involved in that, but he learned about it. He spoke out about it. He wrote a huge book, Compromise, Clinton, Bush, and the CIA. But, I mean, now they're on Fox News interviewing the commander with the Marines saying, yeah, we helped grow the opium. I mean, it's just in your face. I mean, I guess soon the cops will deliver the heroin, and then when you buy it, they'll put you in handcuffs on the spot and shoot your dog. Bob Chapman comments on that.
That's what it's getting to, and it's a shame because they've been compromised. They've been federalized. And, I'm concerned for their future because there's going to come a time if we can clear Congress and get things changed, that people like that will be thrown in jail. And that's something they know they shouldn't be doing. On the other hand, if we're unsuccessful and this thing turns into a revolution, I wouldn't give 2 cents for their lifespan.
Well, anybody that watches this video that's up on Infowars.com right now is the top story. I mean, this tells it all. Government admits they deal heroin, but terrorize families for pot. It is so important. Anything else, caller, you want to add before I take 2 final calls for Bob Chapman, Joe?
Yeah, real quick. I just thought of the Clinton thing while I was on hold, but the reason why I called, and I want to get your input on this, throw it out. You haven't really mentioned it this calendar year, at least, or any of you, Max, Bob, or Gerald, or anybody else. We have the biggest distraction coming up next month. Billions of people are going to be glued to billions of TVs, and that's the World Cup. And especially as good as the United States team is this year, I'm just wondering, and that's just the theory that I'm working on, if they might, the elites might plan something. And also, because remember what's taking place, it's the World Cup tournament's going on in South Africa.
Yeah, the globalists are setting up race riots down there right now. And they love to stage terror events during big TV events to make sure all the slaves get their programming. I appreciate your call. They're going to need more false flag attacks. What they do is they get a CIA asset like Tim McVeigh or Lee Harvey Oswald. It's been confirmed, declassified, that both of them were secret government agents. Same thing with this Pakistani guy. We've got the documents that he was part of a secret CIA operation. We know they were running a drill in Times Square. That evidence has now been confirmed. Your take on more staged terror attacks and Mayor Bloomberg, Bob Chapman, trying to blame the Tea Parties for the failed bombing in Times Square?
Well, you can expect that from Mayor Bloomberg of New York City. I grew up in the next town over from him. He was in Medford, and I was in Somerville, Massachusetts, although I did not know him. I lived in South Africa in Rhodesia, and I'm still very well connected, particularly in South Africa. And you saw the murder a few weeks ago of Eugene Terreblanche. That was the kickoff. And I think they may have quite a difficult time filling any of the stadiums for these games down there. And also, I have links and information from the press from South Africa saying that segments of the ANC, which runs the country, are planning riots. And so it bears out what you've just said, Alex.
Absolutely, yeah. They killed the leader of the Boers down there just 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago. Quickly, because we're going to let Bob go here in a moment. I'll continue with your calls and other key news items we haven't hit yet and some recaps. Let's talk to Craig in Seattle. You're on the air. Go ahead, Craig.
Hi, Alex. Thank you very much for taking my call. My question is, the 1,000-point drop on the stock market, does that have anything to do with audit the Fed or influencing votes, or another shot across the bow to whomever as far as the panic in the streets?
Well, I know this. It's admitted and confirmed. We covered it in the Obama deception. We interviewed a congressman about it. They did go out and say we're going to have depression to drive the stock market down. The plunge protection team stood back to terrorize the public into giving the bankers tens of trillions of dollars. And the audit the Fed bill is moving through. They are panicking to block it. Bob Chapman.
You're absolutely correct. And that bill is the nationalization of all banks, among a whole bunch of other things that we've had in the forecaster, and of course Alex has talked about. And they're doing everything possible not to let anybody know that there's such a bill. And of course Dodd is sold out, like his father sold out, and they just pay them off and they go on their way, and they live happily ever after, or at least they have up until now. And so many of these events, like I think part of the reason for the Goldman Sachs pursuance is not only the fact that they knew the suits were coming, lawsuits, but they also needed a distraction, and that was it.
Well, they're going after mid-level traders and saying they made a mistake, and I've seen Blankfein on TV saying, oh, we've learned from this. Oh, we want this other re-regulation bill that even the Texas Banking Association says will allow the mega banks to selectively come in and take over healthy regional banks that are actually lending to the people.
Well, that's true. And, you know, there's 2,000 banks in the country that are being run by the comptroller of the currency.
Incredible. Okay, let's take two more calls. We're going to let Bob go quickly. Let's talk to, well, the list has gotten so long here. Who's up next, John? Steve in Illinois. You're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead.
I am a strict follower of Messianic Judaism. I have fought this since 1980, locally and nationally. I nailed Dr. Bill Frist's re-election bid of late. You will watch terrible times and wonderful times are coming. They're going to take down the electrical power grid for this country, and you are going to witness divine intervention. You heard it here first, and I thank you very kindly for the time.
All right, appreciate your call. Let's talk to Ed in Minnesota. Any questions for Bob?
I think we should go back to the gold standard, actually have like coins with just a minuscule amount of real gold, banning it. And another thing is, I believe that the government is passing a lot of laws to make anybody a felon, whether it's DWI or whatever, just so they have the right to take away your arms.
Oh, there's no doubt. They're trying to pass bills right now without a judge, jury, charges. You just can't own guns if the FBI says so. And they're trying to pass bills where they can arrest U.S. citizens, and the Pentagon and Justice Department can secretly strip you of your citizenship, and you are never seen again. Bob Chapman, your take on that?
Absolutely correct, and that's where they're headed. And they're in the forefront along with England, and Australia's tagging right behind. And that's what they're going to do, or at least that's what they intend to do.
I mean, there's no doubt this is tyranny. Ed, I appreciate your call. I'm going through these quick to get financial questions and brokers and people because this is the big issue. This really shows how rigged the markets are. And for those that just tuned in, it's admitted they've been rigged since 1987. Break that down briefly, Bob Chapman.
Well, it was the introduction of the Working Group on Financial Markets by Ronald Reagan under an executive order, and it was to keep order in plunging markets. And that's why it's called a plunge protection team euphemistically. And what they've done is they distorted the whole thing, and they're using it to rape everybody financially, and they manipulate markets 24 hours a day all over the world.
Wow, a casino that's rigged. I find that hard to believe. I'm joking.